Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, the match has ended. And we're going to analyze what has been this Barca 0, Leganés 1, a match for the history books of Leganés. Those of you who follow the channel know perfectly well that I'm from Leganés. And logically, this victory means a lot to me. I know what Leganés is all about. I've seen them play in the third division, on dirt fields, playing in the third division. I know what this victory means for Leganés. It's a historic win. That's why in the thumbnail it says Historic Leganés, because it's a historic victory. Then we can discuss the match type, where Leganés couldn't do much. They scored early with Sergio's header, a deserved historic goal for him and the club. They defended well, setting a league possession record, while Barca struggled with poor play and Leganés' strong defense. Leganés held on to their 1-0 lead. In the second half, Dimitrovic had fewer saves to make, and Koundé missed a clear chance. The victory gave Leganés 3 crucial points, keeping Barca at the top. Leganés held on until the end with that 1-0. And honestly, in the second half, if in the first half Dimitrovic made a couple of really impressive saves, in the second half he hardly had to intervene at all. Koundé had a clear chance that he sent wide. But the victory goes to Leganés, which is 3 golden points, 3 key points for Barca, who remain at the top. The next match is against Atletico de Madrid, a chance to make up for this loss because it's 2 consecutive defeats at home against Unión Deportiva Las Palmas and Club Deportivo Alaves. These are 2 losses that obviously no one at Barca was expecting. Here we have the image of Sergio with this victory. Let's analyze the victory in depth because there's a lot to discuss. All right, let's go. Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, you already know that we sponsor the city of Ceuta, which is amazing, here on your channel, Mundo Maldini, and I'm in the area of the Royal Walls, which is spectacular. This is the navigable area. It's a true marvel. And these walls endured the longest siege in the history of humanity, 33 years. You can still see the impacts. This area is impressive. You have to visit Ceuta, and you especially need to check out this area, the Royal Walls. All right, let's go, friends of Mundo Maldini. The match started off terribly for Barca, first with Sergio's goal, which was a play, by the way, very poorly defended by Leganés, really poorly defended. The corner from Oscar Rodriguez was well struck, and it was an easy finish for Sergio to make it 1-0. Then shortly after, there was that hit on Lamine Yamal, which was totally unintentional, but I think it was Javi Hernandez who, while trying to clear the ball, ended up hitting him and twisted his ankle a bit. And I've seen Lamine Yamal of the game almost the whole time. And that obviously made it hard for Barca to keep up. They ended the first half like that, but they weren't trying to break through. Instead of breaking through, we saw a version of Lamine Yamal that was well below his level. And that, of course, was key for Barca to get stuck. And the only way they had to get through was from the sides, but they never managed to do that. They never caused any damage from the flanks. Just a couple of times. He needed to insist more over there, but Lamine Yamal didn't have a good game. And Balde didn't have a good game either. For me, the best has been Koundé from Barca. Honestly, for me, the best player for Barca has been Koundé. Here we see how Lamine Yamal is being substituted. Let's take a look at the lineups. And then I'll tell you some things about the match that I think are quite significant. It's an absolutely unexpected defeat, of course. I think it's the big surprise of the league so far. I think I gave it a 5% chance. In the video we made for predictions, and I almost thought that was too much. This was almost like what happened with Saudi Arabia against Argentina. But that's the magic of football. Of course, nothing is written before the matches. Yes, that 5% chance I gave has turned into a victory for Barca. I wasn't saying it was impossible. Iñaki Peña in goal, Koundé with Eric Garcia, Íñigo Martínez, and Balde. Today he gave Cuba a rest. Ah, yes. And in the end, Araujo couldn't come in. Pedri and Casado were in a double pivot with Raphinha on the left, Lamine more on the right, Olmo and Lewandowski. 2001. Sure, go into a bit more detail now, but there have been players. Dani Olmo had a terrible game, honestly, a terrible game. I didn't understand the substitution of Lewandowski. He wasn't on the bench today. Flick was suspended. Pedri hasn't been bad, but he's definitely not at his level by any means. Today, Casado hasn't been good, and the team got stuck in the middle against a Leganés that came out with 3 centre-backs. Dimitrovic, Altimira, with Javi Hernandez on the wings, has put Tapia in as a centre-back, which he has done before at Butarque, with Jorge Sáenz. Sergio González probably had the game of his life, and then at the end, he made a save right on the goal line that would have been the equalizer. What Sergio and Tapia did as centre-backs was incredible. Then he got injured, and Brasanac came in to play as a centre-back too, which isn't really his position, but today he wanted 3 centre-backs. Cissé, Neju, by the way, what a great coach Borja is. I insist on that. What a great coach Borja is. Cissé and Ayew in a double pivot with Munir on the right, Oscar Rodriguez on the left, and Miguel Arriba completely isolated because logically Leganés defended very deep. Barca pushed a lot, but they had practically no depth or very little depth. They tried to push through the middle, and with those three centre-backs, Leganés really defended the area very well. They were a very, very, very solid team inside and didn't waste much time. Only 3 minutes were added in the second half because they didn't waste too much time. It hasn't been the typical team that started wasting time, throwing themselves on the ground. They didn't abuse fouls too much either. I think it was an excellent defense in the middle. They left the wings a bit more open, and Barca wasn't able to take advantage of that, partly because of Lamine, Neyu, and Tapia, who multiplied their efforts. Now, Sanac has worked quite well as a centre-back. The Giants have been left without a counter-attack. And Leganés, Raphinha in the first half was a bit better, getting inside on a few plays. There was a very clear play where he made a back pass inside, and Robert Lewandowski shot, who I honestly wouldn't have substituted. Robert Lewandowski. Let's see. This is a play by Raphinha that hits the post, one of the few things he could do on the Leganés side. The cross from Balde and the shot from Raphinha, which is a stop by Dimitrovic, and then the ball hits the crossbar. By the way, Lamine hasn't had his day, but at least he received that Golden Boy award. The truth is he has been quite poor. I think mainly because of that ankle injury. This is a very clear chance for Robert Lewandowski. Raphinha's back pass, Lewandowski shoots comfortably, and Dimitrovic makes a spectacular save. Here we have Sergio Garcia's goal, by the way. Great goal, great shot. I already said that today the Minjamara had a shot, which is this one, that went very high and there was practically no overflow. They were controlling Robert Lewandowski pretty well, but I did see him moving around a lot, and I didn't understand the substitution. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to come in after the 2 goals the other day in Dortmund. This is football. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to come in after the 2 goals the other day in Dortmund. This is football. Barca comes off a win in Dortmund and loses at home to Leganés. This is the magic of football. Friends of Mundo Maldini. That's why we love it, because it's a sport where literally anything can happen. And today we saw it with Leganés' victory. I mean, what doesn't make sense is taking Lewandowski out to bring in Ferran and then ending up putting Pau Victor in alongside Ferran. You end up playing with 2 forwards, but you no longer have Robert Lewandowski, who at least had a couple of pretty dangerous and good chances today. Well, Pedri was weak. Logically, like the rest of Barca, Pedri tried but was weak. We saw Casado play pretty poorly today, and let's take a look at the match stats. Because the most surprising thing, friends of Mundo Maldini, the most surprising thing especially, was Dani Olmo's performance today. Bad touches, poor inside passes, nothing worked for him, and he had a really terrible game. Dani Olmo, disastrous game for Dani Olmo. Today I understood the substitution. Fermin hasn't contributed much. In the end, the substitutions were made by Flick. Raphinha played right, Fermin barely showed left, and the team struggled. Koundé was standout. Raphinha ended up playing on the right, Fermin hardly showed up on the left, and the team was stuck in a constant jam because they weren't getting much down the flanks. The Min wasn't doing well. And the best player of the match for me, by far for Barca, has been this man Koundé. What happened is that he then missed a pretty clear shot right in the small box, but I think he was the one who created the most danger, the one who had the clearest chances, and he was probably the most dangerous player in attack. And that's how Barca was today, Jules Koundé. I want us to take a look at a detail with our friends from Flash Score. So you can see 80-20 in possession. What a record for this league. 80-20 in possession. It's hard to see more than that in football. 78-22, and the second half was 83-17. It's very hard to see such a difference in possession in professional football, but for Barca, it meant nothing, as they hardly generated any danger or very little. In the second half, 20 shots, but only 4 on target. Leganés defended so well that they had the same number of shots on target as Barcelona. That's how well Leganés defended the area. I'll say it again. Every team has to use their own strengths. You can't ask Leganés to go out and play toe-to-toe against Barcelona. It wouldn't make any sense. Play fair, defend, stop rivals, create little danger. Score set pieces, celebrate Leganés. If you can defend the area well, and if you are able to stop an opponent who is better than you, who is superior to you, and you accept that and are able to make the opponent pose little danger to you, you deserve to win the match. Or at least you deserve not to lose it. If you are also able to score a goal from a perfectly executed set piece, that is the victory for Leganés, who, according to the video, will be celebrating. This morning, the press chief of Leganés called me about a story, and I just sent him a message, so I imagine the team is pretty happy. This is football, friends of Mundo Maldini. Lega wins 0. Barcelona remains in the lead. In any case, I think it's a tough loss for Barca because no one expected it, just like the one against Las Palmas, but Barca is going to fight for the league until the end. It's a beautiful league. It's a league where they're going to end up below 90 points. The champion, Nah, it's a beautiful league. And it's also showing that none of the three, right now, Atletico is doing really well, but out of the three title contenders, watch out for Atletico because they've gotten really close, having drawn with Deportivo. None of the three have clearly won their away games, and not even at home, of course. And it's especially being shown with Barca. So with Raphinha's frustration and Leganés' joy, friends of Mundo Maldini, we'll have more tomorrow. We have the Despejado show coming up. We have a ton of things for all of you here, and we'll probably also go over the notes from this match or the Westcott report for this game. Barca 0, Leganés. We have a ton of things for all of you here, and we'll probably also go over the notes from this match or the Westcott report for this game. Barca 0, Leganés. A historic match for Leganés. A hug. Bye, 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 bye.